Alright YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome to Apple Weekly number 27 I believe. I know I haven't been doing many of these for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I've been occupied. The series isn't going anywhere, it's just I'm kind of getting a bit behind schedule, but nevertheless I will be trying to maintain that, it's up every single week. Remember, the show is being broadcasted on both iTunes and YouTube. It's available on the iTunes podcast format just in case if you're going into work or college or university or wherever and you want it on the go, download it from iTunes and that way you can watch it. So the first story is WWDC and the back to school promotion. Now if you've bought a Mac in the past 2 or 3 weeks, probably not the most wise thing to do. That is because the back to school program is going to be starting approximately around WWDC. Now what the back to school program basically is, for those of you who don't know, you basically, when you buy a Mac, you get a free iPod Touch or an iPod Nano, and that's pretty much a winner. So what I'd previously done was, in the last back to school offer, I bought a Mac and then I bought a free iPod Touch. iPod Touch went on eBay and I got £150 instantly, and on top of that you can also, for those of you who are students, can still make the most of the student offer, which is approximately 13 to 14% on any Mac. So that coupled with the back to school promotion, you're walking outside with a huge cheeser on your face. I'll put a link to a video which I made earlier on which basically shows you how to get a Mac the cheapest way possible. For those of you who are interested in getting one, that is probably a good video to watch. But what I'm going to say is, if you're waiting for a Mac, you're going to get a Mac today or tomorrow, wait until WWDC, which is the 1st or 2nd week of June, and that way you can maximise on kind of saving money. The second story is very interesting. The Macbook Air, supposedly the refresh model is going to have an A5 chip, or there's an A5 prototype in Apple's labs. Now the source that who brought it out, it's kind of obvious, right? No doubt Apple have got the next 3 or 4 versions of the iPhone. Of course they have to plan ahead. They've got various prototypes of any given device. So they're, at the moment in Apple's lab, I wouldn't be surprised if they have an iPhone 4 with like an HD 1080p camera, or even better than that. As a business they have to have many different prototypes and only one of them shines, and even if they've got it in their labs they might be testing the A5 chip because they might be coming the years ahead, next year, the year after that. Apple might be looking to implement their own A chips within laptops. Of course the A4 and A5 chips have been used in the iPhone 4 and the iPad, and most recently the Apple TV as well. So kind of testing the waters. How's it working? How's it performing? Can we do something maybe later on in the year? But to say the i5 A chip, which is currently being used in the iPad 2, coming onto a MacBook Air, it's kind of no match for it. The A5 is well low powered, so why would they go from like a Core 2 Duo chip all the way down to an A5? It doesn't make any sense. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is there tens of models of a MacBook Air in Apple's lab? Of course. Are there tens of models for an iPod Touch? Of course. Many of these have different chips, different designs, different kind of internal parts, if you want to say, and only one of them shines at a given time. They probably experiment with it throughout the months, throughout the weeks, and then come to the release that there's only one out of it. This third story is also relating to WWDC. Basically Apple sent out, or the Apple iPhone team sent out invites to journalists from Britain, Australia, and this was a specific team, an iPhone team, sending out press invites, giving them tickets, and I think they were paying for expenses of British and Australian journalists to come over to WWDC. And typical British people thought, or the British journalists thought, I think it was Electric Pig, thought, okay, because it's the iPhone team who've sent the invites out, it's got to be something on the iPhone 5 hardware itself. The iPhone 5 is being launched. Now I'm not saying, it's definitely, the iPhone 5 is not coming out at WWDC. I don't know, but what I think it's going to be Line, the WWDC, the focus is going to be on Line and iOS 5. And I think the reason for Apple inviting British journalists is because iOS 5 is going to be huge. It's going to be really revamped in terms of notifications, maybe even UI, the design. So to think, it's definitely going to be the iPhone 5, or hype it up, or make a story on it saying, something is up, the iPhone 5 is going to be shown at WWDC, I think is incorrect. And on a general note, I'm quite excited about WWDC, looking forward to seeing more in-depth preview of Line, seeing what iOS 5 brings to the table, and of course the one more thing, which a lot of you asked in a live stream yesterday what I think it was. I'm thinking it's going to be a Mac. I could be wrong. I'd like it to be, I guess I like more the Mac side. I'd like it to be a Mac Mini or so, that'd be great. But it could be something to do with Apple's North Carolina data center. It could be Mobile Me is going free, or the iTunes music or something. but I think it's only about a week and a half away. Previous Apple events have been shown live streamed by Apple themselves. Will WWDC be shown live? We don't know yet. It usually happens on the day or the day before we find out what the link is for the live video and audio stream. And this last story, Apple Store 2.0. Now this is a story that has been going on over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and past month or so. It's been kind of, you know, Apple's 10th anniversary is coming when they've launched the retail stores. They launched the retail stores back in 2001, so the anniversary happened and people were saying, oh, something's big's going to happen, something's going to get released. It was all hyped up, and come the day, all that happened was we just got iPad sitting next to a MacBook Pros and making kind of life easier for the customer. You know, you can check the full specifications. Nothing ooh or in shock or surprised or anything like that. I was expecting something more, I guess, merchandise wise. Maybe they have, I don't know, changing the store layout or some more design changes. There's more. 9to5 Mac reports there's going to be major redesign on the online store itself, so making the UI better, making customer service a bit easier. So that way it was only an iPad added to retail stores. That was it. There was nothing really major. There was no kind of coffee or deal style with Starbucks inside Apple stores. So when you're buying a Mac, you get a free coffee or tea or hot chocolate. None of that. They didn't add any sofas to stores or hand out free stuff on the actual day of the 10th anniversary. Nothing of that kind. So I think it was just kind of hyped up, nothing major in my opinion. But that's it guys, that's it for this week in Apple. If you can leave a comment below, that would be great. If you can rate the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. Those of you watching on iTunes, if you can leave a comment for this podcast, you sir would be great. And lastly, if you've recently received your Apple order and it's been dented or bent or broken, it's because of these iPlonkers. The iPlank is getting quite famous amongst some retail stores. These geniuses have been up to all sorts, and I bet you Steve Jobs is on the case with his Secret Service team trying to identify who these people are. But guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another life. Cheers. Looking to send a package at the lowest price possible? Simple. Visit parcelmonkey.co.uk, follow these 4 simple steps, have the package collected from your doorstep, and then sit back and relax.